So my name is Damian Eldridge. I'm touching my mic. Anyway. This is one of the first times I'm doing anything like this, so you have to clap and like it. So don't crush my dreams. All right. So when I heard about this, I tossed it back and forth in my very full head. What story am I going to tell? Because I have so many that are absolutely just nightmarish. Just my life. It's very difficult. It's full of pain and struggle, and that's what I know. And through the world showing me that, I know what love is. Because there must be the other side, right? And I was always love and light filled in this world that was very dark and had hurt for me, right? But in that, I found great strength, and I found myself. So I decided to pick one that I'm currently going through, right? That really I truly experienced here, and I feel now that I've been here a while, I only could have experienced here. So before I tell this, I don't know what message I want to convey, and maybe I don't really have a point. But I guess if anything I could take out of this, and that I hope for this, is I hope to connect and to share this experience. Distant family asked me to come out here, and I'm a heavy spiritual person, so I get messages all the time, intuitive, psychic, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it, right? So I knew I was going to leave because I was in West Virginia. Lovely place. Don't go. You don't need to. And so I got asked to come out here, so I did. And some really manipulative stuff started going on. I said, I've been through this plenty of times. I'm not going to do this. I'd rather be homeless. So 3 weeks into being here, I was homeless. So, but during that time, I fell in love, not meaning to. And even though I had nothing during the pandemic, an unsure time, everyone's like, what's going on? Are we going to die? We can't even be 2 feet in front of each other. How are we going to meet each other? We can't even go to restaurants and eat. What are we going to do? We're all upset and sad. And everyone was really having a time about it. But I was happy. It's like stay inside. I'm living outside. So what can you do? Don't come in my tent? I don't know, right? So I was happy though. I was in love. I was like, yeah. I kiss her, she kisses me, she thinks I'm cute. This is great. Good gig, right? So after 9 months of that, she left in the most horrible way that, could have hurt me the most, naturally, because that's my life. We spoke of this. And I was the most heartbroken I've ever been, which is saying a lot. So for the next year, I was trying to figure out why. Why did it happen? Is it going to be better? Will I be better? Will I ever be happy again? Will I ever be in love again? And all this stuff, yada, yada, right? I was just really sad. And so this was during the time when there was some folks living at the fairgrounds, right? Some may remember that, maybe not, but we were out there. And I was the one living in the very small tent that was this big, like that big. It had a hole in it. It was all wrecked. Like everyone had like big tents or like an RV or trailer. What I had, it was hard for me to even go out and get food for myself. So a lot of times I just didn't eat. I know you can't tell. Don't tell me. I know this. I live with this. It's fine. I like cakes. What are you going to do? Right? So I was trying to find the happy again that I lost. And, in that time I didn't find it. All right? So that's fine. This is a year of heartbreak. Don't really need to go into detail about that. It sucked. So we moved to the Mill Road site, right, which is still under construction. 2 days or 3 days into me being there, I was going about my business. Everything was fine. I was, life was looking up. We're going to be in an organized place. Things are going to be organized. We're all going to be together, whatever, because the people that are broken, that are hurt, that are outcast, that are seen as people, kind of. Those are my people. All people are my people, but those are like extra, this little softy spot in my heart for them. So I was happy. And it was like during the evening, out of nowhere, going about my biz like I do. And I was just sitting on my bed in my RV. Someone gifted me an RV, by the way. So I had for a few days. I was like, this is great. And at that time, I just started hearing voices, right? I was like, are they outside my RV? Are they what's going on? Usually there's only thoughts up there. There's something else up there now, and they're very very aggressive. So that night, they were just, there's this man talking about, he's just being very aggressive, being very violent, talking to somebody else. So I assumed it was like outside my RV, but I just didn't know. Basically, what it came down to was at many hours of this, he said that he was going to shoot my ex, right? The one that I still loved very, very much. And she was in the same Mill Road site, same site. And so it was like I could hear her too. And she was crying, and I really thought he was going to do it. So I called the police at the last second. She was crying. She was like, I love you, whatever. I'm like, what is going on? But I didn't know. I didn't know. I just knew something was going down. So I called, and the police showed up with all these guns and everything, because I'd ran out right after I called them. I ran out, and they showed up. And then they showed up outside my RV after they went and checked the RV I said I thought she was in. And they said, come out with your hands up and this and that. And so I came out from behind another tent that I was hiding behind because I didn't know what was going on. And they said there's nobody, that she was fine, and there's nobody with a gun. And there was nobody by the name that the voice had given me. Now, you're probably thinking like, well, didn't you know it was like, either in your head or like, didn't you know something? But there's so much happening at one time that I couldn't understand, and I just panicked. I just knew something was, to hear that emotion from her and everything, I just felt like something was going on. So, turns out there was nothing. Everyone was just like, hey, you're stupid, shut up. But I was relieved because everyone was safe. Then I had another thing on my hands. Finally, it had happened after many years, and I knew that it always would. I have gone crazy. I've gone nuts. And that was another whole bag of stuff I had to unravel, right? So they continued, but it was different. The next 2 days, they said, well, I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to shoot you now. And I was scared. I was in the fetal position on the floor of my RV for a few nights, not knowing when they were going to show up, when they were going to shoot me, not having much sleep or anything like that, because there's just, you don't sleep. It's so loud, right? It's not whispers. And So eventually I got tired of that. I was like, whatever, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. I'm going to leave the RV. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So, and there's nothing. Everything was fine. Everything was normal outside my RV. Everything was normal. And I was like, okay, what is happening? And first few days, I only heard them in my RV, and then I'd leave the RV, I'd stop hearing them, and then it was outside the RV, and then it was when I went into town, and then I'd go to the Recovery Cafe a lot. I love that place. I highly recommend it. If you've never been, free food, good people, it's excellent. Like I said, connection is kind of my deal. Good place for it. But that was the last place where that was the only place like they wouldn't talk my head, right? And then eventually they just started talking all the time. But after the threats of, hey, I'm going to shoot you, it was every insecurity I had, right? So if I thought, hey, I'm going to brush my teeth, or I'll just be like, oh my God, you haven't brushed your teeth, blah, 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 blah. Or, oh, look, he's eating again, da 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 da. And like I said, we discussed this. I like cakes, right? So it was like every insecurity, every little thing that, that I had even a little bit of any thought, anything that I would go do, it was bad. It was not enough, or so eventually I ended up just being overwhelmed. I remember so many times I was on my knees in my RV, just drained, just like in shock, just wore out. There's no peace. And I was just like mouth open, drooling on myself, like it was that horrible, several times. And so I knocked the windows out of my RV and destroyed my place a few times. I then set my place on fire, but then I ran into somebody. Because I was like, after you try everything, you just try and throw a wrench in the system and see what pops out. And so that's what I did, but that didn't do anything either. It was saved, it was fine, it was just a small fire, and it didn't go anywhere. It was just on a piece of plywood, you just took it out, boom, done. But, I ended up having to deal with the courts for that, still dealing with the courts over that. But after that, I was not allowed to be there anymore. And it's bad when you're on the fringes of society and you're barely allowed anywhere else. And even if you are, you don't feel that way anywhere you go. And I still feel that way sometimes. As much as I love people and my soul is for people, I still feel that way. I go into a room and, hard time receiving love because is it really there? That kind of deal. So I had to move to I don't know how long, hopefully I'm not taking long.
Yeah, we should probably keep people
wrap it up?
Yeah, wrap it up.
Okay. Okay, good.
But it's good.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know how long, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, then I'll leave it on that. I wasn't checking time, sorry. There's way more, but that's all. I'm glad you're here, and I love you guys. Right.
Bring it in.